Well, Walt Grayson is in the Mississippi Moment Corner with a sad story. Our old friend Gordon Cotton in Vicksburg has passed away. Gordon was the longtime curator of the Old Courthouse Museum and an endless source of story material for Walt. So today, Walt has a couple of memories about Gordon to pass along to us. Walt?
Yeah, Gordon and I grew to be good friends over the decades, but the very first time I called him was to see if he would take me on a trip out to one of those last surviving siege caves in Vicksburg so I could do a story about it. Now, I'd never met him up until then. I'd never talked to him on the phone. And Gordon didn't own a television, so he didn't know who I was. And he had also, this was at the same time that he had been working for about 3 weeks straight, 7 days a week, and was about to have his first day off that Saturday. And that Saturday was the day I wanted to go see the cave. Well, anyway, I got Gordon on the phone, and he told me very quickly that there would be very few reasons that would get him back into town on his first day off in nearly a month, and going tramping through bushes to climb hills and find a crumbling cave wasn't one of the reasons that interested him in the least. Now, over time, we laughed a lot about that first phone conversation, and as far as being helpful, anytime I ever called Gordon Cotton, he was the most helpful person in the world. I would ask him a question about some project I was working on, and his conversation would pretty much start off saying, well, I don't know very much about it, but, and then 45 minutes later, he'd still be telling you what it was he didn't know about what it was you were asking. Gordon was a historian, he was a teacher, he was a writer, he was a fan of sacred harp singing, and he relished the best of the old days, and he had 1,000 stories, several of which you've seen over the years, either here or on Mississippi roads on public broadcasting, or you've read in the Vicksburg newspaper. Whenever I interview anybody, I always start by asking them to tell me their name and spell it on tape. But here's a clip of Gordon when I was setting up my camera doing interviews about the 150th anniversary of the siege of Vicksburg back in 2013. And I think I had finally decided that I probably really didn't get him to tell me his name anymore. Here's Gordon.
You think you know who I am?
I believe so.
Well, there are two others with the same name now. That's kind of scary.
And what do they do about that?
One lives in Arkansas, and I've met him.
Yeah.
The other one's in Texas, and I've met his mother. Yeah. And none of us are any kin. But Gordon is an unusual first name.
Well, it really is.
And as a friend of mine said, one of you's enough. We don't need two more.
Yeah, Vicksburg and Mississippi together, we're both a better place to have had the one and the only Gordon Cotton, whose funeral was today in Vicksburg, and we're really going to miss him. But let me throw something in real quickly here. We mentioned Gold in the Hills, I think it was yesterday. Gold in the Hills in Vicksburg starts back again this weekend.